Buffs Nation, what is going on? It is a beautiful Saturday morning just outside of Boulder, Colorado. Man, I'm loving it. And I was just on Jason Watkins' college football show and thought I would come back on here, talk a little bit more Colorado, talk to the fellas, see what you guys, have to say about the team, about today. I mean, I see Lil Wayne's performing, just incredible stuff, man. This is unreal. And wanting to, of course, start every show, today with the sunglasses on. Again, shout out to all the terrible mothers out there. We wouldn't have this without you. It really means a lot. But, all jokes aside, man, I can't wait. I cannot wait for tonight. And all these recruits coming in, they're going to be able to see what a full game day experience is like for this for this university, for this program. It's an amazing thing. I'm going to be joined here by Jason, later on as we're talking some Colorado. But let me know in the comments who's watching. Hit that like on the way in, checking in. Right now, I got the LSU Mississippi State game on, and I can't wait. I cannot wait for tonight, 8 p.m. So Patricia, good to see you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Really means a lot. I think I saw you over in Jason's show as well. So great to see that you're checking in here again. Your support means a lot. Want to give a quick shout out again to my good friend Martez. You can go get one of those Colorado Retro Ralphie tees that we designed in the description. SCO buffs. You, you're supporting us. You're supporting Martez as he's really growing his apparel brand. That's for sure. So he was on the show on Wednesday. So be sure to check out his interview if you kind of want to see the story. See the person behind all the stuff that I'm wearing a lot of the time. So right, Nicole, so good to see you again. Coming over from Jason's show. Hey, David, I'm so ready with my drink. Man, and being on campus, when you got a late kickoff like this, and this is something that we're used to being out in the Pac-12, having these late night kickoffs. It is definitely a marathon. Definitely pace yourself, and it's going to be interesting to see. They'll definitely be pulling fans out of the stands, even before kickoff. It's going to be great. I think, for me, rather today, I might be going with a different vice, specifically sold here in Colorado for the day. But I mean, y'all probably know that because that's I have that on like half of these streams. If I'm being honest, which is just so funny. So, anyways, y'all let me know what your score predictions are going to be today. I would love it if we could get, a 50-point shutout. I mean, wouldn't that just be incredible? Shador needs 8 touchdowns to break the school record. So that's at least 7 times 8, right? That's 56 points. If we could, lay a 60 burger on this team right now on Jay Norvell, that would be awesome. I think it would be a lot of fun. Buff to the natty saying 51-10 Buffs. Yeah, let me know who scores touchdowns. Does Travis Hunter get his first touchdown today of the season? That has to happen. And right now, I'm looking up the highest score ever for CU Buffs football. I don't know what the highest amount of points we've ever scored is. So I'm going to try and find this. I mean, we scored 62-36. That's right, against Nebraska on my birthday in 2003, 2001, 2001. Yeah, because it was my ninth birthday. I'm 30. But we'll just have to see. I can't find the records right now. And I'm too easily distracted right now. I don't take my Adderall on the weekends. Right, Nicole. I'm gonna say 60-14. Heck yes. I would love that. If we could get above that 62 that we hung on Nebraska in 2001, man, that would be awesome. Zion, thank you for tuning in, man. So good to see you. FSU is trailing Boston College. Dude, what the heck? I was just talking about that with Jason, which was funny. But I got to respond to this design. Man, I didn't mean to make y'all feel old, man. But you guys want to know something funny, and you guys will, laugh your ass off hearing this. So I moved here to Colorado when I was 25. Okay, I could not grow a beard. It's the most Colorado thing ever. Like, I could not grow facial hair until I moved here. It's just something in the water. Now I got a beard and, it's the funniest thing ever. But I would show you my driver's license, but I probably wouldn't cover up my address well. And I mean, you never know what kind of weirdos are on the internet, right? But I will say there's something else that's pretty funny is Thursday night. I was just chilling and I was like, "You know what? I think I'm gonna watch some cartoons because I haven't watched cartoons in forever." So me and my wife, we turn on first Rocket Power, which that was like one of the shows in my childhood, right? And the first man, I just felt so old because the first thing that happens in this first scene of Rocket Power is the squid, he made a video and he and he takes out this big old VHS tape and puts it into a VHS player. And I'm like, man, I feel old. And then Otto Rocket was getting some sponsorship money for his snowboard in this episode, and he was talking about, yeah, I got that mall opening money. I have that mall opening money. And I was like, wow, man, uh, I'm starting to feel old because when was the last time you saw a mall open? And then on SpongeBob SquarePants, I watched some SpongeBob. I haven't watched SpongeBob in forever, and man, I just love SpongeBob. They need to come out with the true adult version where they allow the swear words. But yeah, I mean, y'all know the reason why, and we'll get into college football and CU here in a minute, but I need to explain this. With SpongeBob, why Plankton could never get the secret recipe to the Krabby Patties. I saw this reel on Instagram and it makes sense. It's because I don't know why this never clicked with me. It's because Mr. Krabs is selling his own people. He's killing crabs, turning them into Krabby Patties. I mean, that makes sense. So if Plankton were to find out, then I mean, Mr. Krabs' whole charade, is over. People know he's killing his own kind, and that's why you never see Mr. Krabs eat a Krabby Patty because he's not going to eat crab. He's not going to be a cannibal, but he's going to sell. He's going to sell the other crabs for his pockets. For making all me money, right? So, thank you for letting me entertain myself, maybe, with a little bit of SpongeBob. But I mean, let's just get into it. Like I said, Jason's going to be hopping on here later. Yeah, I think he's got to reset his computer and stuff like that. So, Ryan Nicole, I got a feeling Dylan going to run it back like he did TCU, but hoping for more of Wilkerson in. Man, I would love that. I want to see Dylan score. And again, I think they're going to have a tough time, tracking down some of these guys and and tackling them, man. I think you're totally right, Miss Ryan Nicole. Absolutely. Giggity, New Harper, good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. I'm so excited. Let me know your score prediction. Not sure if I heard it right on TV, but Coach Prime said they sold over 1 million in sunglasses so far at $67 a pair. $67 in revenue. Oh my gosh. And Jay Norvell doesn't get a penny of that. Man, man, that's rough. Yeah, last week of non-conference play, I might need to change this game because it seems like Mississippi State is not going to keep up with LSU, and they just drew a funny thing on the screen. Okay. I was arguing all night with someone on here, commenting under another post about Prime because I called Jay sassy. Dude said, "What is Prime?" Then I went off. Man, what the heck? That's just what you tell him, Ryan. Absolutely. Oh, sweet. Jason's on here or getting ready. So, Jason, you just hit me in the chat when you're ready to go, and then we can start doing it. But until then, I'm gonna be hitting up some more of these comments. Y'all let me know what your score prediction is. Y'all let me know if you still watch SpongeBob, because yeah, I had no idea that. I mean, it's so obvious now that Mr. Krabs is selling crabs in the Krabby Patties, and that's why he's not eating any. Charles says 58 to 13, Hunter gets 3 TDs. I mean, that's what we need. We need him to start putting up the touchdowns if, we're going to have him there in that Heisman discussion at the end of the year. I totally agree. Pre-ordered mine, 2 pair for me and the wife, and 3 extra to give away on the channel. The man above. That's how you do business. I love to hear that. Beautiful. All right. Well, this has been a long time coming. I'm excited that we can make it happen. But my good friend Jason Watkins is going to be joining on here. And if you didn't catch our stream earlier today on his channel, I mean, he was the first person to ever reach out to me on YouTube, just encouraging me to keep doing my thing, and knowing that we would eventually start collaborating. So, it we've been trying to get this together to have him on, and I'm glad that it's worked out here to get him making his debut on the channel, because I want you guys to hear from him, just even as a Sooners fan, just how invested he is in what is going on at CU, how much of a fan he is of what's happening. And I think that's, again, a really cool thing. I mean, many of y'all have other college football teams that you root for, but Colorado, it's like something that we can all come together for and enjoy. And it's just so fun. So, Jason definitely appreciates having fun. I know y'all in the comments know, I mean, you guys are a hell of a lot of fun. So, with that being said, gonna bring Jason on here, and we're gonna talk some Colorado. So, Jason, thank you so much for joining. How are you doing this morning?
What's up, my man? Thanks for having me on. I appreciate that a lot.
Man, absolutely, absolute honor, and yeah, I'm really glad we've been able to get this going again this morning. But
No
um,
doubt.
for people that have just that are just now meeting you here on YouTube for the first time, coming over to my channel, man, I would just love to hear from you what your instant thoughts are right now with Colorado, and maybe even just talking about what you were thinking in December, what your expectations are, because you've always been a believer in what's been going on. And
I
I
have been.
yeah, take your moment. Take your moment.
Listen, and it's kind of fun to do it, but a lot of people, um, and we were talking about it on my show a little while ago. Back when Bryce was on the channel all the time, he was the guy that helped me start my channel, Bryce Pinson, and he's a huge fan of Coach Prime, and so am I. You always I mean, you have to be, if you love football, and you love football back in the days whenever I grew up. Coach Prime's the man, period. And even the folks
Mhm.
that are younger and hadn't, they've seen him, they've mostly known him on NFL Network and stuff like that. But I got to tell you, the truth is, we were talking when he was still at Jackson State, like, hey, who's going to be the school that's smart enough to go find a way to get him on board?
Yeah.
Because if you're doing what you're doing at Jackson State, recruiting the way that he was recruiting there, and you're not already, I thought it was crazy that Auburn wouldn't go make a run at him. I thought it was, I mean, any SEC school should have been going and taking a run at this guy. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah.
Florida State, I know that they're happy with Norvell. They're Norvell, but I got to tell you, we were talking about this before, and as soon as he got the job, we were immediately saying, look, this guy is going to win and win immediately. I mean, I'm keeping my expectations somewhat reasonable, because I think that it's hard to come in and even win the Pac-12 in year one. There's a lot of good football teams in the Pac-12 this
Yeah.
year, on the way out of it or whatever. But, when you got Oregon, and I think Washington is unbelievably good as well.
Mhm.
We all know that I'm not a SC fan. I believe that they're going to go 8-4. But I do feel like they were going to come in and probably, I said right away, somewhere between 6 and 8. I'll admit I kind of waffled on it whenever the turnover got a little crazy. I wasn't too sure at that point. I've never been that dude that's saying 3 freaking wins. I think
Yeah.
it's the dumbest shit ever. It's just the dumbest shit ever. Because here's the thing, what the hell has he ever failed at?
I know.
What has he ever failed at? I mean, the dude's never failed at anything he's ever done, and so I've never bought it. I've never understood it, and all those beliefs that and it's just a bunch of crap. Yeah, pick a
Yes.
school that
Yeah.
has nowhere to go but up. You're right, Shawty. You're right. And there's another one of our friends of the channel. Look, I just always have felt like when you start looking at it in terms of what he was going to bring to the table with recruiting, because Shawty will tell you it's about the Jimmies and Joes more than anything else. And when you've got a quarterback like Shador, and people forget, they were saying, well, he did that against HBU competition, FCS. Okay. Well, he could have went to any school in the country, including Georgia, Alabama, anywhere he went. Florida State was freaking frothing over him. Everybody he would have been able to go anywhere he wanted to, just like Shiloh went to South Carolina. And there are the son that does the Dion Jr., that does all the media stuff. He played at SMU. All these guys are freaking players.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden we just think that they just all, the lineage of Coach Prime just, cut off at Dion Jr. Come on, people. There's no way I believe that. When you can spin it and you can run it the way that he can, and he's going to try not to run, I know. But the dude can throw. Look at what Caleb Williams did in his first season at USC. They were 4-8. They went to 11 wins. I mean, I don't expect 11 wins still. I'm going to tell you that I would not be surprised at whatever they end up at, because of the fact that this kid can go, and Travis Hunter is the best player in college football. Period. Right now, done. That's it.
Absolutely. Well said. Yeah, I think nothing. You just need to check your expectations, at the door. And
Sure.
I mean, there's going to be I think there's going to be some upsets, that we surprise, some people on, but you're right. We at least see scenarios and how we can beat, every opponent, on the schedule. Not that that's going to happen, but like there's possibilities with, we're definitely going to be
Don't tell them
competing.
it's not going to happen, because they don't want to hear it. So
exactly. They've been proving everybody wrong so far, man. And
right.
I think it's so funny with the criticism of Shador coming in here. I mean, you could take 5 minutes to go look at the FCS quarterbacks that have been drafted into the NFL, within the last 15 years. And I mean, he put up better numbers than all of them at a younger age.
Yeah.
And it's like, you knew that he would come in here and really sling it, right?
Well, yeah. And I mean, he said it after the first game. He was like, man, I never had 500 yards in the SWAC.
It's crazy.
Never had 500 yards in the SWAC, and they dominated the SWAC.
Yes.
Yeah, and Shawty, I think you're right on that to an extent, that he may be a better coach as far as X's and O's and things like that, as far as that goes. But I gotta say, when it comes to CEO stuff, I don't think that he is, because he's going in there thinking that you got to do it that old way too. Why didn't he go and just destroy that roster that was trash last year too? And to be able to go and get the coaches that Coach Prime got. I mean, how many of those guys have been a freaking head coach at the Division I level? And I guarantee you, you're not going to keep Sean Lewis out of being a head coach for very long. The dude is that good. He was already a head coach. It was, obviously a, FBS program. But look, having seen his offenses and what they did at Kent State, even, I mean, they were, yeah. And I mean, obviously, Georgia overlooked them a little bit, but because they hung around in that game for an awful long time last year with Sean Lewis running that show. And that was with the kind of talent that they can only get there. Look, when you give him a guy like Shador Sanders, that's like giving me a new toy. It's like oh yeah, hell yeah. This is the stuff you want to do. It's awesome for him. I really do believe that this is a perfect setup for him. I think that Colorado being that, and I think that I don't see him just leaving that quick either. I really don't.
No.
I think that he's probably going to be the type of guy that it seems like well, I know this for a fact. he has loyalty to the people that are loyal to him. And I think one of the things that I saw that really kind of signaled to me that he might be around for a while was when he was talking about the AD and saying, look, it's not lost on me that I'm the third straight African American coach that you've hired here.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. You know,
Mhm.
that means a lot to him. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And so I don't see him just running off. And the other part of it is in the Big 12, you're going to have an easier road to the playoff than you have in the SEC or even and particularly the Big 10. He ain't going to the Big 10. If he was to go anywhere, I would think it would be to an SEC program. But to be honest with you, you've got an easier road right from where you are. They're going to give him what he needs to win there. They already have fabulous facilities and they'll just get better.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Rick George is a huge, he might be the main reason of why I think, Coach Prime will stick around for quite a while
Yeah.
because, again, we've talked about it. The program, it wasn't this mentality of what power do we need to give away to Coach Prime. It was more the perspective or philosophy of,
Let him work. Let him go to
yes,
work.
what do we need to do to empower you? Like,
Right.
what all do you need? And yeah, I don't think that's lost on him. It's been, and then two, like with Rick George, even raising the money when Mike McIntyre was here to get the facilities in the place to where they're one of the top in the country. They'll be one of the top facilities in the Big 12 with where they're at now, and yeah, just credit to him. He's laid the
Yeah.
foundation and he got everybody on board. I do want to give a quick shout out here to Lamar throwing in a couple dollars super chat. Really means a lot to the channel.
Absolutely.
Appreciate that support. Saying Jade Norvell wants to be fired. Man, break that down for
You
me a
must
little bit,
want
Jason.
something. You must want something, man, because I don't know what the hell else he was thinking about. What a knucklehead. What a
Right.
knucklehead.
And someone said in the comments that Coach Prime said today that his mama might make a debut on the game tonight. So we just might have to have to
Awesome.
see. He said keep the cameras running after the game. That's what he said. So
Oh,
um,
Lord.
it's going to be showtime, and absolutely, Coach Prime is
Mama
loyal.
Sanders is about to get on the TV and start talking some shit too. I love it.
Yeah,
Love it.
and man,
It had to
this
come
is
from somewhere, right?
yes, yes, yes.
I
But
love it, man.
man, I'll tell you, with we've talked about this too a little bit, and I think you saw my tweet. Might have laughed at it or whatever, but we're talking about the center of the college football universe or whatever being mainly centered around a city in the state of Alabama, and you're
Yeah.
telling me that it can't be in Colorado.
I
I,
think
I
that was
it
one of the
definitely agree.
best one of the best takes I've heard about the whole thing in a long time. It put so much in perspective for me when you said that. I
Really.
was like, "You're right. You're right." I mean, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, who the hell goes there unless you're a freaking Alabama person? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, unless you've been to a game there or unless you went to college there, yeah, it's not the center of the world. I get it.
No,
Yeah.
no, it is not. And I think like some people coming on here, and Jason, and I mean, you've been doing this and been invested much longer than I have. So break this down for me too, if I'm misunderstanding things. But when people come and say, well, just wait till the Big Ten or an SEC school offers him, a contract that CU can't match. And it's like these
But
institutions,
can you
I know
not
they
match it?
raise money.
You can
What?
afford to
Yeah.
look at the money that they're raising in the city today
Yes.
and what they raised last week. I mean, to me, I don't think that you're thinking of it on terms of what Colorado has made in the past. They didn't have Coach Prime until now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The revenue's
And
going up, folks. The revenue's going up.
the revenue is going up, and what? Nick Saban and Dabo, they're making what? $5 million more a year right now than Coach Prime. You're telling me this university can't find $5 million more, or $6 million, $7 million more a year?
Look what they made on
Yeah,
the freaking spring game, man. Come on.
it's it's insane. It's insane, and of
Give the
course,
man his money. Let
yeah,
him do his thing. I mean, there's no way they don't re-up him. I thought you were smart to start calling for him to get his job, to get an extension right away, give him more. I think it's smart. I don't think he's necessarily asking for it, but don't make him ask. Don't make him ask for it. And Stevie G, I kind of agree with that. There could be where you've got more money, at a play because they can write a check and say fill in the number at Texas A&M. You're not wrong there. You're not wrong there. Here's the thing: they didn't come looking for him when they could have got him last year.
Yeah,
and look, Texas A&M's a little kooky, by the way. Not the most.
They're the cringe. They're the most opposite of prime time as you can get.
Cuckoo. Yeah, they're cuckoo, man. And let's just make it. Let's just say what it is. It's not going to be as soft a landing spot for him down there, and their expectations are sky high when they never win shit. So, I think it's the worst place that he could possibly go. If he's going to go somewhere, I could see him maybe Texas. I could definitely see him going to a place like Florida. I could definitely see a Clemson, something like that. But I also still think that everybody assumes that Colorado can afford to keep him. Again, the revenue wasn't the same until he got here. Mm-hmm. Just the number that's going to go up. And Rick George doesn't seem – I can't imagine that he wants to lose him at all. And I don't think that they would – I think it's going to be hard for them to find a number that they won't match. And on top of that, I don't know that it's just all about money either.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's completely about money, man.
Can Nick Saban say he took over a 1-11 team and did all this?
Yeah, look, Shadi, I would agree that they have major egos, but I also think that nothing is off brand here when it comes to Coach Prime, though. Everything he's saying, he's doing, and look, I think that are they going to keep him forever? Maybe, maybe not. But again, I still feel like you have a better opportunity to get into that playoff every season and continue to build your way up until you can possibly contend for a national championship. You might think that you can't recruit there, but he's already doing it.
Yeah. He's Bryce Underwood, 5-star quarterback. I think there's a lot of good momentum here with him moving up his visit, from USC to now. We got Boo Carter back on campus today, just a handful of guys. This is still just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to recruiting. Right. We got a lot of the skill guys there, right now. And then I think, just like Coach Prime said yesterday, we're 7-8 dogs away. I think we're going to see the trenches filled out, in this next offseason to where there won't be any glaring holes on this roster or in depth moving forward.
I think they move into the Big 12 and they win it probably. You know what I mean? Or they're right there in it.
Yeah. Yeah. They're coming in.
I think that Utah is going to be a problem for everybody, and you're going to see kind of where you stand with Utah this year.
Yes.
The hope being, if you're a Colorado fan, you kind of hope that you don't see Cam Rising come back anytime real soon because, Cam is a dog. He's a dog, man. But I also know that, and they're going to be disciplined and they're going to get things done the way that Coach Wood always does. That's a hell of a football program. I think he's one of the best coaches in the country, no doubt.
Yes.
But I think that is the minute that they both get there, they're the two best teams.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. It's going to be fun to figure out, what is, kind of who all the other contenders are, within the Big 12. But yeah, I think I'm really happy that Utah is going to be our last game because I think we're seeing our team take steps, in different areas every week so far, which is great. And, I think we're going to continue to build up and I'm going to that game against Utah in Utah is going to be a direct indication of we're going to know exactly where we're at.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think so too. And I think that you got Washington too, right, on the schedule?
Washington is the school we have Oregon State.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
See, and there's another tough one because Jonathan Smith's a hell of a coach too. And, it's kind of sucky for them that they're not in on that too, that I think that they ought to be. I think they're a perfect Big 12 program, even Washington State. And I think that if you're Brett Yormark, you'd be smart to make that happen. Yes. Because here's the thing. You don't want to see – I think it's crap for – and I think that Oregon State is my team to win the Pac-12 this year. I think that they were that good. They won 9 games last year without a quarterback, and now they got DJU, who I believe is every bit as good as anybody in that league.
Yes. Yeah.
He's big. He's got a cannon for an arm. And, and he can do things that that a lot. I mean, he was the number 1 5-star quarterback in the country too. Whenever he came out, they just didn't use him right at Clemson,
No.
and they didn't add weapons to the machine. Whenever he took it over, he didn't have Trevor Lawrence's receivers. He didn't have Trevor Lawrence's running backs, or even offensive coordinator for that matter. I think that you're seeing a lot on what's going to happen there. They may not, but I think that they could. Yeah. I think that Oregon. I'm not a big believer in Bo Nix. So I and with Kenny Dillingham gone, I feel like they're going to struggle there. They obviously put up some points, but they gave up a lot of points at Tech too. So do I think that Bo Nix is good enough to outshoot Shedeur? No. The only other quarterback, there's 2 quarterbacks in the league, or well, 3. It's Penix, Caleb Williams, Shedeur, and then DJ. And then I really feel like Cam Rising, if he's healthy, is going to be a pain in the ass too, because he's a dog. He's just a different kind of dude, man. He just is. He's the kind of guy that they would love to have at CU.
Yes. Yes.
They would. They would love it. If they didn't have Shedeur, they'd love to have Cam.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's that cat, But like I said, I do feel like they're going to, and I don't expect Colorado to be able to go through and beat all those teams. I don't. I think they're going to give them all games, and they're going to probably knock off 1 or 2 of them and screw their season up, right? Like USC. I think that look, they can make a stop. I don't know that I believe that the SC will.
I'm right there with you.
I've watched this damn movie before. I'm an Oklahoma fan. I've seen this damn movie with Lincoln Riley and Alex Grinch a bunch of times. I know how it ends, just like it ended last season.
And I feel like Caleb Williams, some of these other Pac-12 quarterbacks, they're going to come in here and take some shots at our secondary, and I think that's going to work in our advantage. I don't see them shying away from Travis Hunter.
They should. I would throw his damn way. Why would you? Stupid.
Right. I'm going to move my computer back in my other room so I can charge it, but I'm still here. But Jason, I got a quick question for you. Talking about Lincoln Riley SC. I always thought it was kind of an odd fit personally, Lincoln Riley and USC. What kind of was your opinion on the move, the fit, all of that? Do you think he'll stick around in SC, or I'm curious to hear.
Simple answer, no, he ain't gonna be there. I wouldn't be surprised if he's gone next year.
Really?
Caleb Williams leaves. If Caleb Williams leaves, Lincoln could be going right behind him. They get him as a package deal with the number 1 pick. And the thing is a lot of the shine is kind of running off of him at this point.
Yeah.
A lot of people from college, and then, you saw what he did this week where he was out there making a bunch of accusations about getting broke into and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And 2 years ago, which there's no police reports about that. He's trying to hurt Oklahoma still, and it's the same way that he did shit on his way out. He had a deal with SC going in. From what I could tell, it was as early as like week 7. Yeah. I think that he had that deal pretty soon after they fired Helton, right? There's one recruit that went on the record that we know of. There's at least 5 other ones that have talked to coaches within Oklahoma and stuff like that, that they were actively recruiting for USC as coaches for Oklahoma. He's a snake. He's a slimy ass snake. And I don't give a shit who hears it or what. Look, I'll shut up if you want me to, but I'm telling you now, he's a snake, and everybody's starting to see it. And think about the times they went to 3 playoffs under him. They went to 1 with him as the OC. Aside from the Georgia game that they should have won, they had the best team. They should have won the whole thing, which he gagged it up. It was bad coaching on his part, just like the Tulane game. I'm going to tell you now, he will continue to do that. He gagged at the end of last season, but they got the shit kicked out of him the other times that he was in. 3 times they got just broken in half twice. and then they choked away the third one against Georgia. And they could have taken that lead that they had at the half and stepped on their throat. And now don't get me wrong, Georgia had a nice football team, but the momentum was heading in that direction. And they had Baker, who was the best player in college football that season. They were big that year. I'm telling you now, the best team that they had at USC, you'll see this, was last year, before they had time for the strength and conditioning coach to screw them all up.
Did he come from OU too?
Yes. Yeah. They were smaller every year. Every year that he was there, they got smaller. Yeah, that's what they do. That's what they want. That's why that speed defense doesn't work. And it works fine if you're at a place like Washington State or Texas Tech or ECU, where you're not going to get those monsters. So
but now you are in the Big Ten.
When you're at the freaking SC or at Oklahoma, and his whole thing on the way out was, well, you just can't recruit elite talent, particularly on defense, to Norman. It's a blue blood. What the hell are you talking about?
Exactly.
They've gotten 3 5-stars already just in the last couple of years on defense only.
And I still think they'll land Williams Nwaneri. I still think that
they could.
Happen.
They may. I also think that CU may not be out of the running for Williams Nwaneri. I think that he liked it there, from what I've heard. But I think that it looks like he is going to go to OU. That being said, I'm not positive about that. I think that what they did at Missouri was smart. The legislature passed what they passed so that they can pay him as a high school kid. That doesn't mean he has to stay. But the truth is, if they end up landing Danny Okoye this next week, they've already got Nigel Smith. They already got David Stone. They already got David Stone's teammate there at IMG.
Mm-hmm.
They're loaded. They're loaded. And they're going to continue to get better. And so, look, whenever Venables was at Clemson, they didn't start getting 5-star D diamond until they had already won a national title. They had to build those guys up.
Mm-hmm.
So they know what they're doing there. But again, I got to tell you, I would not be surprised at anybody who ends up at CU, period, at any side, because they have great defensive coaches there as well.
Mm-hmm.
They know what they're doing there, right?
Yeah. And I mean, right now the word is, of course we've seen them come in practice, but Warren Sapp helping out with the recruiting, and I think we're gonna start getting some big dogs on really coming in on the defensive end too, which is going to be exciting. But yeah, I mean, it's a unique vibe. It's a fun vibe. I think
think about
everybody just wants to be a part of it.
Going to look like if you just beef up in the trenches, your secondary is going to be, there's nobody going to be able to touch them.
No. And it's
corners
just
are going to be ungodly every year. Cormani hadn't even he just got there late. I don't think he's physically ready, right? Isn't that what pretty much the word is?
Yeah, I think so. Of course, adjusting to the altitude can take a little while, but we should see him this week. We should see him, or tonight rather. So that will be good. But yeah, they're going to develop the secondary. Some of these young guys coming in. I'd like to think. I still don't think it's going to happen, but again, you never know what's going to happen with this program. Charles Lester, maybe he might flip, on signing day or whatever. That would be really cool. But I think we're going to get the dogs in at the secondary no matter what. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with the quarterback, because
when you start seeing these guys that don't get what they want at these other schools, and I mean, he's going to win the transfer portal. He's clear. I mean, that's what Lincoln did. He's good at the transfer portal, but he's not as good as Coach Prime is at it.
No. And again, when you can come here, and it's just crazy how Boulder, Colorado, of all places, feels more Hollywood. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But the fact that we got more people hanging around this program right now than SC does right in LA, it's just crazy to think about. So yeah, you come here, you're meeting all the Hall of Famers, you're meeting all the guys with gold jackets, you're meeting all the talk show hosts, and you're getting the opportunity. We already got the things in motion to make sure that people are learning who you are, on the internet, and your personality, all those things. You got the NIL deals. It was reported in here. Someone said in the comments that So we'll have to verify this, but they were saying that it's been reported over 1 million pre-orders have happened for Coach Prime's new sunglasses. So at $67 a
That's
unit.
so
So
freaking
I mean,
hilarious, dude. That was so freaking hilarious. What a knucklehead that guy is, man. What a dumb shit. Yeah, just shut up. Just shut up and don't say anything. And then you know what I mean?
yeah,
You would have gotten along. You guys would have gotten along fine. And I get it,
yeah.
your little brother, you just can't help yourself, but shit. Shut up, bro. You didn't have to do that.
He,
But just to answer Stephen G, yeah, no, that's not happening. Stoney's not going anywhere. He's an OU guy, man. Come on.
oh yeah, I just saw
Yeah,
those OU
Stoney's
bound.
not going. He's an
But
Oklahoma guy.
if
Yeah.
I'm Jay
These
Norvell
guys
though,
that it doesn't work out somewhere that they go to is what I'm talking about.
yes,
I would not be surprised to see those dudes end up in Boulder.
yeah,
because
we know there's a lot of these guys making false promises to
Texas
these kids,
A&M,
and
Texas
everything.
A&M.
Yes, yes, facts.
And
But
even
man,
hey,
I want to say with Jay
look at Jordan
Norvell, man.
Addison. They were supposed to pay him $2 million. They gave him $250,000. That's why he didn't play in the Cotton Bowl. That's the word that I heard from Pitt.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean,
That's
even you just
crazy.
never know. I'm telling you, man, he's a slime ball. Period. Bottom line.
And if there's one thing college football is full of, man, it's these snakes.
Yeah,
absolutely. Dude. I do have a fun question for you, Jason.
Cool.
What is the next college football team, or who is the next college football team to put the dog label on a jersey?
Wow. You mean as far as like the captain, instead of captain, you got leaders and dogs? I think that's freaking cool, by the way. Hey, look. Yeah, I don't know. I think that they're probably going to be coming from he's going to have a coaching tree before long.
That's a good point.
He's going to have a coaching tree before long. I would think that, you're looking at, I think that Sean Lewis is the first one out of there probably.
I think so too.
You know, and they like that. Look, the smart thing is that he kept his OC from Jackson State. Yeah. Hey, Ryan Nicole, I've seen you around on the channels and stuff like that. She's a good
She's a good follow. She's awesome.
Good follower, man. She's fun, yeah. I think that Sean's probably the first one to go, and I think it was smart for them to bring the coordinator and make him the receiver coach there. And he's a hell of a recruiter, right?
Yeah.
So
everybody is.
I would say that they all recruit great. But I would say that you're probably going to see that. And I think that he said himself that he's learned so much from Coach Prime and from the other guys in the coaching staff as well. I just think it's that good, right? Yeah, the beat's going to be good.
Yeah, but you bring up a good point. Yeah, it's going to be likely, I think, somebody in the coaching tree. Sure. I think if any program not connected to Coach Prime starts doing that, they're just going to be
thrashed. Called out for it. Yeah, you can't do that.
And
you can't do that.
There's some of these things, that you can't really replicate. That I think is so, it's so awesome. But I think I wanted to say
you can put your own spin on it and do your own thing. But if you're not trying to, if you're not trying to copy off of what Coach Prime is doing in some respects, then you're crazy, right? Because everything's a copycat, right?
Mm-hmm.
The difference is, and Josh Pate was talking about this on one of his shows, is like, you can say that we're going to do the same thing as they did in Colorado, but no, there's only one Coach Prime. He's 101.
Yeah. You can't
do it the same way. That's why, like, Oklahoma, I love what they're doing with Coach Venables. And I don't know why he took on Coach Prime. That didn't make no sense to me. But I love what they're doing with him. I think he's a hell of a coach, and he's doing it his way. He's not trying to be Coach Prime, and he shouldn't, right?
Yeah.
They've done things the way they've done it, and it's worked before, and that's the way he's going to do it. And I think that the better coaches know what they need to do. But if you don't think that you need to find a way to compete, because he is upsetting the apple cart, man. There's gonna these mediocre dudes like Mike Gundy, they're screwed. They'll never get a guy that he wants, ever.
No, you're absolutely right. It's we're seeing the fabric and the foundation of college football shaking up, man, and it's a lot of fun. What was I gonna say? I got to start wrapping up here in a few minutes, Jason, but
Yeah, I got
I
to run
want to
too.
hear a few different things from you. And thank you again for hopping straight on with me after your
No worries,
2 hour
bro.
show.
Appreciate it.
Give me a prediction for tonight, what you want to see, CU do tonight. And yeah, if there's anything else that you feel like, Buffs Nation tuning in, man, needs to hear from you, now's your time to say it.
Okay. What do I think they're gonna do tonight? I saw some of the predictions in there. I like the maybe 52-3. I don't know that you give them three. I think that you might have 45-3. I think 45-3. Chris has got a good one, so I'll go with 42-3 just because so I don't pick the same thing that he has. But I don't even know that they get three, to be honest with you. I mean, maybe they would have if he hadn't have freaking piped up and
I
ran
love
his
that.
mouth. But that was just so silly of him. I just think it was dumb. Because really, if you think about it, they could have been looking ahead at next week at Oregon, the big game. Yes, I wouldn't be that surprised either with that, Steven. That's actually pretty sure. It could be even closer to that. Look, I just think that they don't have a shot. If they were gonna hang in the game for a while, it would have been, you think maybe CU looks ahead. Although I don't see them being that program to do that because I still think that no matter what, they're trying to combat the haters right now because there's a lot of them, right? And even still, it's like I said on my show, it's one of the there's like 3 or 4 things I'm sick to death of hearing right now. And one of them being it started off with they're not going to win more than 3 games, and now it's they're not playing anybody.
Right.
Right. What is it? I mean, what do you want? What do you want here? And how long are you going to keep on, moving the goalposts and in order to try to hate on him? You could continue doing that if you want. And if you want to set it at, they're not going to win the Pac-12 or they can't, fine. Eventually you'll be right because they're not going to win the national championship this year. It'd be crazy to expect it, right? If they did, what a story, right? But I mean, I don't see it. But that being said, they're as good as it gets at the quarterback position. Their skill guys are really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that they have the defense to get it done or in the trenches to get it done, but they're going to be a hell of a lot better than a lot of people wanted to give them credit for. And I think that's the main thing is that all these folks that want to continue trashing on them, I would just ask why. Like, what could really be your reasoning other than you're worried about what he might do for your program? As an OU fan, I'm like, shit, you better get it done now. You better take your head start that you have and do something with it because he's not going to be behind for long.
Yeah, no, you're totally right.
They're going to be there in the way, and it's going to be a pain in the ass for everybody. And that's just the way it is. If people want to hate on that, they can. But truth be told is that I would say is what is it that you hate? If you want to say it's because he's loud and obnoxious about it, okay, fine. I don't see how that's any different than how he's ever been in his lifetime. But I would ask the question is what the hell has he ever failed at? And the guy is a man of God and he is on brand at all times. He never changes what he's saying. And he holds his kids to a standard, his own kids to a standard.
Yeah.
How can you have a problem with this?
He's got character. And not to go on a huge tangent, but
I just think that I think it's just haters that don't want to see that. And look, college football is we know, college football is kind of a dirty place as far as that goes. I mean, look at it.
Auburn hiring Hugh Freeze over Coach Prime. Are you freaking serious?
Yeah, and they didn't even look at Coach Prime. I don't think they even looked at him. I don't think that was a serious consideration whatsoever. He was either going to be CU or Cincinnati, I think, right? Mm-hmm. Hey, what's up, old school? Thanks for the shout out, man. I appreciate that. Hop onto the show. We'd love to see you around. No, listen, I think that these guys are the real deal. I think that they are, and I think that they're going to continue to get it done. I just think that that's how it's going to be. And I think it's great for college football. I'm not one of the folks that, I don't have super high expectations for year one. I think that their floor is probably 6. I think that they could win 8 or 9. I don't see 11. I think that it's going to be hard to do that. There's some really good football teams with really good quarterbacks. And if you the ones that are going to be pretty good in the trenches, you're going to struggle there, I think.
Yeah. Do you
You know,
think I forget how all this stuff is decided, like with the bowl stuff, because
yeah,
CU's just been out of it for so long. But would it
there's some
still be
ties,
something
but
that we see? Like, would they? Do you think they're in position like right now, just as long as they continue to keep going how they're going? If it's not the Pac-12 championship, if it's not the college football playoff, do you think they land in a New Year's Six bowl if they get to like 8-9 wins?
no, you would have to get to, you would have to pretty much, you could get one if you got to the Pac-12 championship game
Okay.
and didn't win it.
Okay.
Which that's going to require 10 at least, right?
Okay.
Probably 10 at least. But I would say you're going to get into one of those good bowls like Holiday Bowl. They're tied in with the Texas Bowl, the Alamo Bowl, some of those other good ones that are like that, the Citrus Bowl. Some of the ones that you're going to see you go in and you play a good opposition. So let's say K-State, Oklahoma, somebody like that. Texas that doesn't win the Big 12, maybe doesn't play for it. They're one of those three. I could see them matching that up because it's a good matchup, right? And that's, see, a couple of years ago when Oklahoma missed out when Lincoln left, they missed out on the Big 12 championship. They still went 11 and well, it was 10-2 in the regular season. So they ended up in the Alamo Bowl and they played Oregon, right? So because Oregon didn't make it in either, and they lost the Pac-12 championship game, but they missed out on a New Year's Six also.
Gotcha.
Right. So I could see, I mean, yeah, you could play one of those three teams. I definitely see them matching up. If they can get to 8-9 wins, they're going to match up with somebody good.
Oh, Florida State would be fun.
I could absolutely see that, old school. I could absolutely see that. If they hit 8 or 9 wins, absolutely, they're going to get somewhere. They're going to get somewhere, and they're going to end up with an intriguing matchup like that. Texas, Oklahoma, Florida State, Florida, Miami, somebody like that. I could see that going down.
I'd love it. Yeah, if Notre Dame would be pretty cool too. Going back to the old Orange Bowl matchups, depending on where they end up. But man, it would. We're just scratching the tip of the iceberg. With this whole thing, and everybody, it means so much that you're coming in here and enjoying this again. Buffs Nation is, it's open for all. Let's just enjoy this ride. Like, this is going to be fun.
It's fun, man. I think it's good for college football, man. Look, I'm an Oklahoma fan. I don't tell anybody any different. I've always had respect for CU. And I definitely have respect for Coach Prime, and I've told people before that, when you got a quarterback, that's the difference. I think Shador is the difference. If you had just Travis Hunter and you didn't have a quarterback, yeah, it's going to be but Shador's that guy. He's a first-round pick.
Yeah,
he's a first-round pick. If he goes this year, he's a first-round pick. If he waits another year, he's number one probably. Well, maybe not. Travis is probably going to be number one, but he might be right behind him.
Yeah, totally. And Zion, you're right. The goalpost is always moving, man. It's so funny.
Moving. It's going to keep moving. Just get used to that shit. Just get used to it and keep shutting people up. It's all good.
We'll enjoy it.
That's one thing they can't do is if you just go win, they can't say nothing.
Exactly. That's what we're doing right now. It's been a ton of fun. Jason, thank you again for coming on. Really appreciate it. Let all the people know where to find you and what they can expect from you coming up here in the near future.
Yeah, so we're cranking it up over here. It's at CFB-pod on YouTube. Our website is hofmedia.us. You can find us on all your podcast audio platforms as well. It's just Hall of Fame college football. Make sure you check us out at JW_HOF on Twitter. We post everything there, so you'll always know whenever we're going on. But hey, we'd love to have you be a part of this community. We talk college football. We're Oklahoma centric, but we're also a national show. This is what my co-host is a Notre Dame guy. So, we cover college football a lot. We got Coach I is always on the show, JJ Kitchen from Pitt. I mean, we talk national college football because we love the game, and this is just what we like to do. And look, we have our allegiances to certain places. It's not to suck. SUC is what not. It's not to SC, which we say SUC instead of USC. And it's not to Texas. But aside from those guys, I just like good college football, man. I'm excited about watching football today. Even this is supposed to be one of the worst weeks for college football. Next week is going to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
But hey, there's some good football to be watched today, and so yeah, I'll just throw the horns down real quick and I'll say thanks a lot for having me on, man. I appreciate that.
I love it. I love it. Again, guys, thank you so much for hopping in. It's always greatly appreciated. I'm doing a watch along tonight for the game. I need to let y'all know about that. I forgot about that with Big Dog Chico on Big Dog and Dave. So be on the lookout for that coming out later today. That's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to see me teaming up with Big Dog a lot throughout the season as well.
Heck
So
yeah.
I will.
That dude's
I will
cool, man.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I like
yeah.
that
It's gonna
too.
be a lot of fun. So I'm trying. You've probably noticed this. I'm trying to get kind of some weekly, rhythmic, guests and collabs going on every week. That's kind of what I really enjoy doing. So I'm happy to have you a part of that, Jason,
I'm
and
excited,
building
man.
that. So yeah, y'all be on the lookout. I'll be teaming up with Jason later this week after the CSU
Absolutely.
game as well.
We're gonna start having them on a weekly basis if we can. I love working with David. So it's again, as I told you on my show, it's been fun watching your rise and the way that you've done stuff. So I appreciate all the love. As I said, yeah. Hey, I always say this on my show: before you walk into his house, wipe your feet, hit that like button, make sure you get all that taken care of. It helps out the algorithm for him, and he's putting in all this work for everybody. Make sure you do the same thing there. Okay.
And y'all are
Appreciate it.
so kind. Appreciate it, Jason. Again, I'll leave everybody with it sucks to be a CSU Ram and Skill Buffs. All right.